I'm working on the chain stitch on the back pocket patchwork panel, and I'm quilting. And what I really like is the fact that I can lock my stitches so that they don't come undone, because chain stitch does come undone quite easily. So I'm locking my stitches by making a thread chain. What you have to understand about making a thread chain with chain stitch is when you very first thread up, you have to sew into fabric, because that's how your stitch is formed. Once they've formed, you can stitch off the fabric and create a thread chain. Be warned that sometimes it makes a sort of clicky noise and you think, oh, that sounds a bit worrying, but in fact it's fine. And the other thing I want to mention is make sure you have your stitch length on 4. So what I'm going to do is, I've already started my stitches. I've got a thread chain here, and I'm with chain needle 2, and you can see I've already done some of my stitches. I'm just going to do this last one, and you can see that it's not so bad with just this flannel, but when you get the arbozo, you need to wrap your fabric so that you can fit it through the gap between the needle and the machine. And the other thing I want to mention is, because I'm using chain needle 2, I'm going to be feeding it in at notch 2. You have 3 notches on your foot, and you want to make sure that the second notch is where the chain needle 2 stitch is going to form. So that needs to stay right on top of that line. So, and I might have to stop and fold more fabric in if I'm using a piece of arbozo. And I'm just doing my diagonal lines. This is the last one I'm doing, and then I'm going to change my thread to gold and do the vertical lines. And I'm stitching right off into the outside borders because I want to come off the fabric, and I'm still stitching, and I have myself a thread chain, and there we are. My stitches are locked on. Now, should you have a problem and your thread breaks or something like that and you have to rethread, do remember that you've got to start off into fabric, just a small piece of fabric, and then stitch off it and create your thread chain. And I just want to show you the clunky stitch on the back, which is decorative 2. I used candle light in the needle and regular yarn in the chain looper, but I've still got a decorative stitch underneath. But to do this panel, I need to see where my lines are, so I'm only going to be able to do the chain stitch decoration with the thread in the needle.